Welcome everybody and welcome back to another reading with yours truly, the Night Reacher. And this time I'm doing actually kind of special. Hopefully you guys can hear me perfect and you can see me and whatnot. I am going to be reading on a +1 by Space This 3. I'm going to be recording the story so you guys could follow along, or you could just go switch off and go to the link downstairs. Now, you are a spy. I am not a spy. BTW, I am loving my hair right now. Anyways, this is a romantic comedy in Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Princess Celestia. I've already, kind of skimmed it, so I kind of know what's happening. But I'm still gonna read it as I was reading it my first time, which hopefully you guys might enjoy. As well as the links will be down in the description for this story, as well as the art there. And without further ado, let's continue. +1. +1. Twilight took another sip from her chamomile tea, and she glanced between Fluttershy and Rarity. The fascinator was excitedly describing her plans for the upcoming Hearts and Hooves Day Gala to be hosted by the Crystal Empire. Cadance had sent her and all of her friends invitations. Oh, and our dresses need to be just perfect. They can only be one first of any particular gala, so we simply must make a smashing impression. It was so fabulous of your sister-in-law to send us all invitations, jested Rarity. Twilight smiled. I'm sure whatever you come up will be fine. You really don't need to go through so much trouble for us. We don't want to be a bother, added Fluttershy. Oh, but if our dresses aren't absolutely just right, how are we gonna ever stop to grab the perfect stallion? Because stallions are imperfect, and we all need one in our lives. But I read that. Twilight felt a slight blush on her face, and her wings fluttered a bit in anticipation. I suppose. And then she added, but I don't want some cole who is judging me just based off my looks. Rarity looked at her for a moment, with her jaw low below her eyes, before her eyes lit up. Why, dear, do you actually plan on getting into the spirits of this event? You had me convinced that the Princess of Friendship had no interest in romance. Well, Twilight circled her hoof around the table, on the table around her teacup. Last year, I could have cared less about Hearts and Hooves Day, but Princess Celestia sent me a letter about personal relationships, and it got me thinking. When I first came to Ponyville, I could have cared less about having friends. I was happy, but, well, my life is just so much more full now, and whenever I see Shining Armor and Cadance, they are just so bright. You need say no more, Twilight. I understand completely. Rarity nodded. You do? Certainly. You are happy now, but wonder if having a special somepony might not be like having friends. Maybe finding Mr. Right will add something special to your life that you wouldn't even know was missing until you found it. Rarity responded. That's it exactly. If the magic of love is even a true that of the magic of friendship, then it's worth investigating. I owe it to myself to at least try looking for somepony. Dear, is there something you have to tell us? Fluttershy shook her head, digging beneath the table. Twilight tried to give a reasoning smile to her friend. It's okay, Fluttershy. You don't have to tell us right now. Fluttershy slowly crept up from under the table, whispering, maybe later. Whenever you are ready, darling. Rarity paused, looking at Twilight. So what characteristics are you looking for in a stallion? That is something you should think about before the gala, you know. Oh, well, it's not like I made multiple checklists or something. Twilight chuckled nervously. I'm not entirely certain. You know, the concept is kinda new to me. I don't really want to cross off possibilities. I see lots of ponies together who I would never expect to work out. I mean, look at all of my friends. What about us, darling? Asked Rarity. Just that Back when I lived in Cantola, I never would have believed I would eventually become friends with ponies like you. No offense, I mean. Twilight, darling, you fret too much. I understand what you mean. If you had made a checklist back then of what you would not look for in a friend, I doubt the list would have looked much like us. No, Twilight nodded. Meekly. Still, Twilight, it's good for you to be open, but just on your own curiosity. What on my own curiosity? What would be on such a list? He or maybe she. I'll be honest. I haven't really thought about it enough to know. You don't know, darling? How could you not know something like that? Twilight helplessly struggled her wits. Does that make me weird? Rarity gave a polite cough. Perhaps a bit unusual. I think it's just fine, added Fluttershy. Twilight looked between her friends, unable to quite smile. I'm not really good with, well, being in touch with myself in general. And all of this is just even more confusing. Basically, for most of my life, I could have described me as asexual. Yes, but surely you. And what's the polite way to say it? Fantasize? Twilight shook her head. Not really. Maybe I've just been too busy for a libido. My reasons with the princess pretty well occupied most of my time back in Counterlaw. Once I came to Ponyville, I would basically fall into bed exhausted every night from trying to juggle my studies on friendship while keeping up with the other subjects. Now, I gotta learn to be a princess to juggle on top of all that. Twilight hesitated. Do you think something is wrong with me? I think you are fine the way you are, Twilight. Don't you agree, Rarity? Fluttershy's voice took a surprisingly firm tone with her last words, causing all her pony pretests. Fluttershy included to blink. Ah, yes. Forgive me for my indulgence. Fluttershy is right. No, it's okay, Twilight resorted. Maybe you could describe your list, if you don't mind, that is. Celestia's curiosity was even more evident in her voice than her shyness at the moment. Well, he or she should be smart. Twilight's hoof began making a checklist of motions in the air as she went on. They should like bugs and reading, not just fiction or non-fiction, preferably all genres. Ideally, they would be good with magic, or at least magical theory, so that we could have something to discuss about it. Maybe a Pegasus? A Pegasus? One good at magic? Scoffed Rarity. Well, Twilight blushed. I mean, since I've started getting a hang of it, I like flying, and it would be fun to do that with my special somepony. They don't necessarily need to be good at magic, they just need to understand it. I never met any Pegasus magical theorists, but Nimbus Troartil, I just butchered the hell out of that name, magical field theory was a Pegasus. So, I mean, they exist. Very well, go on. I guess I would want them to be calm. I'm kinda excitable and would need a pony to balance that. They have to be kind, of course, and understand the value of friendship. Oh, and it should have a sense of humor because I can be too serious at times. That's it. Well, it would be nice if they are good looking. Blushies? My, that's quite a list. I think it is a good thing that you are keeping yourself open. Twilight blush. Oh, more blushies. I'm sure Twilight would find somepony. Fluttershy smiled at her, and Twilight felt a warm confidence in her words. Ah, dear Fluttershy is certainly right. Ordinarily, I would be ill inclining to attend a Hearts and Hooves Day event designed to match together lonely ponies. But if any pony can do the ride, it is Princess Cadance. Damn you, Lightcam HD. Damn you, Norton. Performance alert, of course. Much of ponies? Do you read the invitation, darling? Rarity pulled a piece of paper from her saddlebag in a blue turquoise area and began reading. You are warmly and considerately invited to the Crystal Empire's first annual Hearts and Hooves Day Royal Gala hosted by Prince Shining Armor and Prince Mia Moore Cadance. Opened by the special invitation only, you are sure to meet the pony of your dreams. Huh? That's not what mine says. Twilight said with confusion. Because I'm confused. We're all confused. Really? Do you have it with you? Twilight nodded and pulled her own letter from her saddlebag before reading out loud. You and your special somepony are warmly and considerately invited to the Crystal Empire's first annual Hearts and Hooves Day Royal Gala hosted by Shining Armor and Prince Mia Moore Cadance. Spend a lovely evening with a pony that you love and watch others find a hot gem as the evening goes on. End quote. I figured it was just a standard invitation when written to apply both to ponies with or without dates. I wonder why mine is different. That's and Fluttershy trailed off for a moment before working up the courage to continue. That's the letter written for ponies who already have a special someponies. Twilight! How could you keep something? Oh god. Twilight! Oh god. Twilight! How could you keep something like this from us? And after everything we have been talking about, Twilight's face as red as a tomato, threw her hooves into the air. I do not have a special somepony, and you? She pointed at Hoof at Fluttershy, who eeped in response. How do you know that's why my letter is different? Last time Cadance visited Ponyville, she showed me the letters. She said she wanted my opinion on the calligraphy and that I would have gentle taste. Also, Fluttershy hid behind her mane. I might have gotten one too. Now, darling, I'm afraid you simply must tell us. Oh god, now, darling, I am afraid you simply must tell us who this special somepony is. No putting it off any longer. You can trust us, dear. Fluttershy whispered, some words too quiet for either of her friends to hear. They both leaned forward when she repeated them in a brief, audible level. Discord and I have been dating for a few weeks. Rarity leaned back with a smile on her face. I thought that might be the case. Oh, you dog, Fluttershy. Twilight just gave her friend a hug. I'm happy for you. You two aren't upset or anything? No, Twilight answered. I really think Discord has made a legitimate effort to change. And even though it was sort of his fault, we wouldn't be able to defeat Turek without his help. Awesome episode, by the way. If you guys should check it out if you still haven't. Of course, you've probably already seen it. I've seen it like 3 times. Only 3. I should see it again, though. Rarity nodded in confirmation, and while I have 12 questions, I simply dying to know. I think the biggest one right now is why are Twilight receive a letter designed for ponies already in a relationship? Twilight shook her head. I really don't know why. And you are sure you don't have a confession on your own to make? Asked Rarity while leaning forward. No! Twilight snapped. It might have been some mistake, but it's not like it really matters. I'm sorry, but actually it does matter. Fluttershy whispered. Why ever would that be? Asked Rarity. The second page of my invitation had a had my seating arrangement for the dinner. Cadance is doing assigned seating for Discord and I are together. And if Cadance didn't just send you the wrong letter, she could have sitting next to the wrong pony. Second page? I don't have a second page. Just check the envelope again, darling. I already threw the envelope out. What am I going to do? Calm down, Twilight. Don't fret. Rarity began making a hoof motion to an attempt to get Twilight to engage in the relaxation technique. All you need to do is send Cadance a letter to clear this little mix-up. Up. Twilight groaned. That's great, except there isn't really enough time to send the letter by Pegasus post. After a sigh, she continued. I guess I can ask Princess Cadance Celestia to send one over Dragonfire. And then she grumbled, she added, yeah, I really wish she would teach me that spell. Dear, how are you going to cancel? Dear, you're going to Canterlot this afternoon, aren't you? For one of your magic lessons, right? You're going to Canterlot for magic lessons? Twilight picked up and looked at Fluttershy, and she answered both questions. That's right, I nearly forgot. I guess you missed it when you were out of town, Fluttershy. I realized I was missing my old iPony lessons with the princess, so we are trying to meet up every week or so. She's trying to teach me long-range teleportation to make it easier for me to pop in and out of Canterlot. When we could make our lessons a more regular thing and maybe even start having afternoon tea like we used to. So I can just ask her to send a message to Cadance tomorrow when I see her rather than bother her with a letter. How is the long-range teleportation coming along, anyways? I am sure if I have heard of a unicorn who had managed such a thing. Twilight began to rumble about magical theory, an earlier concept theory forgotten. Anyways, without going too long, I am going to stop part 1 right here. +1 part 1. Yay! Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the story, and my reading wasn't that bad. If it was, anyways, for all the pony lovers, I have a question. So, if you like, please answer in the bottom and tell me, who is your favorite pony? Mine, of course, is Fluttershy because she is sweet, shy, and so adorable. As for my second favorite pony is Sunshitzer because she is awesome. I love Rainbow Rocks, and I think I'll see it again. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this story. Come back for the second part tomorrow, which will probably be up. Thank you for enjoying your daily reading with yours truly, and I'll see you in the next one. Celestia hummed a soft tune to the fowl on her back. But gentle steps, she entered.